This first song is Loreena McKennitt, or at least my version of Loreena McKennitt's song, The Highwayman. There we go. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusting trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon the cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the brow of the hill, and the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The highwayman came riding up to the olden door. He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of the claret velvet, and breeches of brown doe skin. They were fitted with nary a wrinkle. His boots went up to his thigh, and he rode with a chill and a twinkle. His pistol butts a tinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle under a jeweled sky. Over cobblestones he clattered and crashed in the darkened yard. He rapped with his whip at the shutters, but all was locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the casement, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's dark-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. One kiss, my bonny sweetheart, I'm after a prize tonight, but I will return with the yellow gold before the morning light. But if they press me sharply and harry me through the day, and look for me by the moonlight, watch for me by the moonlight, I'll come to thee by the moonlight, though hell should bar the way. He rose upright in the stirrups, he scarce could reach her hand. She loosened her hair at the casement, his face burned like a brand, as a black cascade of perfume came tumbling o'er his breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight, oh sweet waves in the moonlight. He tugged on his reins in the moonlight and galloped away to the west. He did not come at the dawning, he did not come at noon, and out of the tawny sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moor, a red-coat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the olden door. They said no words to the landlord, but drank his ale instead. They ganged his daughter and bound her at the foot of her narrow bed, and two men knelt at the casement with muskets at their side. There was death at every window, hell at one dark window. From Bess can see through the casement the road that he would ride. They had tied her up to attention with many a snickering jest. They bound a musket beside her with a barrel beneath the breast. They had now keep good watch and they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, look for me by the moonlight. I'll come to thee by the moonlight. Come watch for me by the moonlight, though hell should bar the way. She twisted her hands behind her, but oh, the knots held good. She stretched and writhed in the darkness till her hands were sweat with blood. I stretched and strained in the moonlight, and the hours crawled by like the years, till now on the stroke of midnight, cold stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it, the trigger at least was hers. Ta-la, ta-la, had they heard it? The horse's hooves rang clear. Ta-la, ta-la, in the distance. Were they deaf? They did not hear. Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to the priming. She stood up straight and still. Ta-la in the frosty silence, ta-la in the echoing night. Nearer he came and nearer, his face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment, she drew one last deep breath, and a finger moved in the moonlight. A musket shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him away with her death. He turned and he spurred to the west. He did not know she stood, bound with her head o'er the musket, drenched with her own red blood. But till the dawn he heard it, his face grew grey to hear how Bess, landlord's daughter, landlord's dark-eyed daughter, watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. And back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood red with the spurs of the gold moon, wine red was his velvet glow, when they shot him down on the highway, down like a dog on the highway, lay in his blood on the highway, with a bunch of lace at his throat. Still of the winter's night, they say, when the wind blows through the trees, when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon the cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, the highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. The highwayman comes riding up to the olden door.